That was very painful. I'm speechless. All those who have questions, please send your question cards. May I invite our four speakers in the morning session, Professor Yashwant Pathak, Mrs. Nila Balasubramaniyam, Professor Sen Nieh,
Question cards?
and Mr. Ankush Bhandari. I don't see two of the speakers here.
Ankush is on our side. He will come back very soon.
Okay.
Gotcha. Ankush will be here in a minute.
Okay. While we are waiting for Ankush, we will start with some questions to the other three speakers. And first question is to Professor Yashwant Pathak. Compared to African traditional religion, how has Christianity and Islam affected the state of women in Nigeria?
It's very interesting that the oldest evidence of human existence is found in South Africa, which was 60,000 years old. And even today, I had a fortune to visit the area where it was found. It was deep underneath, and the remnants of the human body, which were carbon dated to be 60,000 years old. And from 60,000 years old till 2,000 years before, the Africans had developed their own philosophy, their own lifestyles, and their own way of life. They never ever used the concept of religion in Africa. And then suddenly the Abrahamic religion started coming into the picture, and the whole of the Africa suffered significantly because the African traditions believed in a concept called Ubuntu, which means I am here because of you are here. And this interconnectedness between the society, interconnectedness between the human being and the God, and interconnectedness within the plant kingdom, animal kingdom, and the whole creation of God was never recognized in the Abrahamic religion. And that's where the clashes, I can't say it is a clashes, but that's where the disagreements started happening within the African community and the Abrahamic thoughts. And the dominating approach which was taken up by the invaders, I use the word invaders because they really invaded the Africa and virtually put up the lines on the African continent and divided and said, okay, this particular denomination of Christianity will take care of these countries, and Islam will take care of these countries, the Catholics will take care of these countries, and that's where this whole sort of separation has happened in African community. And second thing is the exploitation of African world was enormous, it's unbelievable. And now I really feel so happy that today there are several African leaders who have come up. If you get a chance, please read The Beautiful Africa, a book, where they are talking about Africans should get rid of all the Western concepts of development, because Africans should build up a concept of economic development based on Ubuntu. I am here because of you are there, and unless you build that economic development, Africa will always be facing this problem.
Thank you, Professor Pathak. I have a couple of questions for Professor Sen Nieh from two different individuals, and I'll just summarize them. Issue is why the communist government in China sees Falun Gong as a political threat, especially more so that they are themselves now promoting Tai Chi. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. The communist regime is not from China. It's from radical Europe, right? So their values, the Communist Party culture, is against the Chinese traditions. But they grab the power with the help from Russia. And they become the dictatorships that they not only control the country, they control economy, they control people. They want to control the thoughts of the people. They want to control your thinking. If you are not in line with theirs, they think you are enemies. So there are many people try to guess why these peaceful mainstream people in China, 100 million, being persecuted. And each one has close relatives in the family and best friends. This involves about 400 million victims in the country, 1/3 of the population. Why they choose to do that? The real reason I don't know, because how evil think we don't know, but estimate is, one is they want to control people's thoughts. For instance, the tenets of Falun Gong has to be speak the truth, truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. The follower of Falun Gong don't tell lies. That communists cannot tolerate. You have to be deceptive to live in that country. Then, and another is the popularity. That's in 6 years, it has 70 million. This is surveyed by the government. More than 70 million, up to 100 million people practice Falun Gong, which is overnumbered the member of Communist Party. And this group of people, they cannot control the thoughts on that. They insist to be the good person, consider others, be tolerant, speak the truth. And they don't like it. So that's another thing, the jealousy of the power. They think that everybody likes powers. They don't understand there are people, they don't like power. They want a peaceful life. Right?
Thank you, Professor Nieh.
Okay.
We'll go on to the next question, and it goes to Nila ji. What was the impact of the Easter Day bombings in Sri Lanka of churches on the Tamil Hindus?
It's a good
Take the
question.
mic.
No, I remember.
Right.
Turn it on, turn it on. On top, one more minute.
Hello?
You can press for them.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes. Could you please repeat the question again?
What was the impact of the Easter Day bombings in Sri Lanka of churches on Tamil Hindus?
Right. In this case, obviously we are not connected with the Easter attack. So it's directly connected with ISS, and also you could see that East attack, hopefully that's all other Christian churches was targeted, 13 national countries was targeted, and also is a no Sinhalese Buddhism were killed, none of them. They killed almost 257, all are from the people who are changed their religion in the 6th, 17th century, before they were Tamils, then they were changed as Sinhalese, then they changed as a Christian. Who are the people who were targeted? So this was nothing related to Hindu Tamils. Is obviously is related to ISIS and also Sri Lankan government of Buddhist, Theravada Buddhist. I would like to recommend it that name properly, Theravada Buddhist. What are they do talk about the Falham? It's a Mahayana Buddhist. It's from Sanatana country. We have the believing system. I could research about Chinese work as well. So I'm working part of them. So that's the reason I had a lot of research about the organ harvesting and Chinese invented also. So this is 100% East attack connected to ISS and Theravada Buddhism. We have to deep this one from 1880. Then only you can able to find the real, who is the real hero behind this East attack.
Thank you, Nilaji.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Ankush. What percentage of honor killings that are undocumented that fall under religions other than Islam, like Christianity, Hinduism, or other religions?
Okay, that's a good question, but to be honest, I haven't done much research on that, but yes, I have read the cases that when I was doing this research, there were a couple of cases of the honor killing which happened in Rajasthan, in India, in Madhya Pradesh, in the eastern part, in the Christian families, and also some part I have seen in the Christian families in the Western world also, because I also gave you the reference of how the religious book of Deuteronomy and all those mention that it's okay to kill your wife or female in your family if it comes to prestige. So that's what I have, but what the percentage is, Aditya, I'm not sure of that exactly.
Okay.
Aditya, I missed one of the important points. The East attack, I would like to say one of the name of the girl, Palestinian. She's the Hindu Tamil. She had a love marriage with the Islamic ISS person, love jihad. She was cheated by that guy. She was kidnapped she was 17 years old. They married. Then they used her as a weapon, as a person. The guy who already died in the Cartagena attack, but the woman, we don't know where is she. She's a Hindu, affected with the love jihad and attracted by the forced marriage, and it's a well prepared and planned by government and also ISS group. Thank you. Sorry, I missed that point.
Thank you, Nilaji. Next question goes to Professor Sen Nieh, and people are very curious about knowing about transnational repression in United States by Communist Party of China, especially using tactics like, legal warfare and psychological warfare. They have some actually police stations, overseas police stations by Communist Party of China and US. You want to speak about that, please?
Yes, it probably is very surprising that you know how deep the infiltrations of communists in our country, United States. They have the long-armed, the police stations all over the world, more than 100 of them. We right now to remove them one by one from the U.S. Then, and they suppress the dissidents, the powerful dissidents that, for instance, they target Falun Gong as probably number one dissidents then against the regime. So they just wake up all these spies, intelligence peoples from China's in the United States and their old friends in the governments, in the medias to do that. So the legal welfare, media welfare, it's this unrestricted welfare against the group, primarily Falun Gong as a group. You heard about this very famous classical dance music group called Sen Nieh performance. They are touring around the world and including the United States. That group alone received more than 150 threats, bomb threats, okay, stab on the tires of the bus, all kinds of things, the nasty emails sent to the theaters and to the audience. But it doesn't work because people understand more and more about evil nature, brutal nature, deceptive nature of communists in our country. But transnational, the war has been very intense. So to our government, steal the intellectual properties, right? This is, on their students sent to the United States, and to the civilian group like us, Falun Gongs and all other dissidents has been seriously done that.
Thank you, Professor Nieh. Next question is a generic question, and any of the panelists, all four panelists, if they want to answer. It's a somewhat deep question. It's not facetious. It's not like, prejudice. But question is, what are the psychological forces sent into play by forcible conversion to Islam? Why don't those who are converted by force go back to their original religion? So, okay, Ankush.
So, what my research and my analysis show, there are a couple of factors. The first factor is luring. They lure the opposite sex that our traditions and our culture is much higher than yours. It can start right away at the school level. It can start at the college level, or even at the workplaces too. There are many instances which has been reported that how these things happen at the workplace too. The second factor is within that family also, because they don't let their members or their kids to understand what their faith actually stands for. Because if it's a saying, whatever the parents do, the kids follows that, right? If the parent doesn't follow anything, the kids are not going to learn. The third main factor is the government factor. In countries, I can speak, I did some research long back. In India, the government said that we are secular, we can't interfere in any particular religion. Whereas in the Western world, they openly say this is a Christian country. This is an Islamic country in the Middle East. So that factor also comes that, okay, you can't speak of your religious book like Bhagavad Gita shlokas in school or in college level, because it is against the whatever so-called adopted Western laws. So I think these are main three factors. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to bring one information from him. For me, I think the Western people, they developed in 1761. They got the revolutions. They bring that laws and they are following that. When you go to the South Asia, the people are not thinking that the laws they have to respect. They are mostly prefer to their lifestyle as normal. When you say like you on the line, they don't want to do that. They don't want to listen to that. When they bring the law only, they think, oh, we have to respect it. So their nature, their lifestyle, they didn't really develop themselves. I would like to say again that Afghanistan or any other country, they are still living in the 6th century. Some are living in 20th century, like we. Some are living in 25th century. I'm really proudly bring that Jewish. I'm sorry to say this, but this is true. They are just 0.02% in the population, world population. They are 22% of the Nobel Prize people. They really lost their linguistic more than 1,000 years. Their Hebrew, they bring it back. They are working every day for their development. So we need to accept others' good things. But obviously, the Islam, they are still in 6th century. We have to look at them as a vulnerable group. That's only I could say that. I'm sorry for my words. This is a reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Neelaji. I'll move on to the next question, and that goes to Professor Sen Nieh. What has been done by the international community in stopping persecution against Falun Gong in China?
Well, outside China, all the Falun Gong practitioners, including me, do their best to let people know about what's happening in China. Okay, what good about Falun Gong, how evil and serious about persecutions. We call it truth clarification efforts in the past 26 years. More and more people know about it. Righteous people stand up to say no, never again. For example, in our Congress, we have Falun Gong Protection Act, which passed unanimously in the House. Right now, they are at the Senate, being considered. Once it's passed Senate and go to the White House, signed by the President, become the law, become the act. Falun Gong Protection Act, going to go after those perpetrators, sanction those perpetrators, and set up the foundation to help those victims, including ICHRRF. Okay, and all the countries, there are many countries, and including European parliaments, has set up different kind of resolutions or the act, the law. Particularly those NGOs, many NGOs understand more and more, stand up to say no. And it's this peaceful efforts of truth clarification has overwhelmed in the past 26 years, including lawsuit. We have more than 50 lawsuits against the perpetrators. So they cannot get out of China. Once they get out of China, we grab them.
So there will be plenty of questions, but in the interest of time, I'll just take one last question, and then we'll go on to our panel discussion. The last question goes to Mr. Ankush Bhandari. You have partly answered in your presentation, but the person asked a very pointed question, so I'm going to repeat it. Does honor killing happen amongst the first generation immigrants, or it is also happening among the second and third generation of Western born people also? So please clarify that, although you have mentioned about it.
Yeah, it has been seen across both the aisles. It's not that only the first generation who just migrated here, they are following those norms of honor killing, but it has also been seen in the second generation, in which people have migrated here in late 50s, 60s, 70s, but they are still following, or they were being taught to follow the honor killing. I cited 3-4 examples. That's why when my nationality came, I said these people are first generation because they're still following those norms in the United States. Now they have migrated from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Libya, Somalia, and many other countries, right? But the second generation also has faced the same cult going on here in the United States. And the sorrow part is that none of our politicians has done anything to curb that, in either at a federal level or even at the state level. I didn't find any law or something. Maybe I may have missed, but I didn't find in my extensive research I did for almost 3-4 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankush. My heartfelt thanks to our 4 morning speakers. Kudos to them for their very passionate, emotional, and forceful presentation that opens our eyes. Each of these presentations actually requires more than an hour if we have to discuss in depth. But we have 20 minutes for each speaker, so we are constrained by time. So people may feel that we did not do justice to it. But hats off to these 4 individuals, Mrs. Nila Balasubramaniyam, Mr. Ankush Bhandari, Professor Sen Nieh, and Professor Yashwant Pathak. Our next session is a panel discussion that will be chaired by Christina and Eric Kalasunas, and the panelists Panel members are Habiba Ashna, Mrs. Priya Saha, Mrs. Nila Balasubramaniyam, Dolores Zola Rolet, and I'm not sure whether Dr. Anjupreet is here. If she is here, then she is invited to come. If not, then we will go ahead and start with the panel discussion. Thank you, everyone.